Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443. I got the suspects, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium.
Frisco 911, what is the location of the emergency?
Hi, we're at Kuykendall Stadium. My friend just got...
Okay, do you know who stabbed him?
We have no clue. He was sitting in our tent, but you need to send an ambulance right now.
They're on the way, okay? Give me a description of the person that stabbed him.
The bleachers, but you just can't see them into the tent. As in, 3 people ran underneath the tent to try and provoke Karmelo. That's what they were trying to get me to say. But you don't see that here. You just see everybody sitting still. So the court, or maybe the judge, has got tired of all these lies and narratives floating around and decided to release actual footage and a lot of evidence of what happened in the Karmelo Anthony court case. Not only that, someone tried to contact me and pay me off to do a video to spin the narrative. You got that right. Somebody tried to contact me and pay me off to do a video to spin the narrative. So are other YouTubers being contacted? And if so, did they take the money? I'm going to explain everything. Stay tuned. Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do here is we take a look at true crime, cases of missing individuals, any sort of crime that might need a deeper look, a different perspective, sometimes on the crime or even life itself. Now, I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I ran for 15 years, lived in different countries, assumed different names, and I ended up turning myself in, accepting accountability. Now I have this YouTube channel, I own a couple companies, and I am a motivational speaker. Well, I did one video already on Karmelo Anthony and pretty much everything that happened. Now, I don't remember if I did the video before the verdict or after. That part I don't remember. I have to go back and look. Now, I was planning on doing a video anyway today because a lot of the evidence came out today, if you guys didn't know. So we have the full video of Karmelo Anthony under the tent with Austin Metcalf. We have the police cam footage and we have the 911 call. So I was going to do a video on this anyway today. Well, funny thing is, I woke up from, I should say, a message around 8 something in the morning. Individual contacted me, saying that, hey, they're offering me, money to do a video, but to do it in a certain narrative, okay? I was being offered $250 to do a YouTube video, okay? To do a certain narrative on this whole situation, okay? First of all, they said, hey, if I can doctor up the video a little bit, or try to doctor up the video a little bit, or even cut it, and then not show the whole video, but cut some of it, and you're going to see the video. And I'm going to explain while we're watching the video what they wanted me to do. And not to pretty much show the full 911 call, but they said that since my background, they figured I would be easier to pay off. I said, what do you mean my background? Well, you've been to jail. You went to prison, you were on the run, you know, so you have a background in the streets. They said, so we know you're street smart. And then they assumed that I would just take this $250 because of that and be a voice because I myself am a person of color. So I would take this money and run with this narrative and not tell the full story of what I know, to spin the narrative to try and get my listeners, which is almost 27,000. It's not a lot, but it's a lot to some people, right? So of 27,000 subscribers that I have, to maybe try and get them to follow my narrative. Because if they follow my narrative of what I'm saying, the more people that do this, the more people will be able to back up the narrative of, I guess, that this whole thing of the Metcalfs were racist, Austin was racist, He didn't like black folks or black people. Jeff Metcalf didn't like black people or black folks. This is what they were trying to get me to try and paint a picture of, guys. Listen, nobody's paying me off. Nobody's going to pay me off. I don't care how much money you pay me, because I'm not just a voice for black people. I'm a voice for all people. I don't care who you are. I'm a voice for right versus wrong. Okay. I'm a voice of acknowledgement. I'm a voice of accountability, because this is what I had to do in order to be sitting here to talk to you guys. I had to acknowledge what I did. I had to accept accountability, what I did, whatever punishment came with that. Okay. Now, yes, you can fight your case, fight your things, stuff like that, but I still had to accept it, because I learned later on in life, okay, I got into trouble around my early 20s. Growing up as a kid, I was a good kid, but then got into trouble in my early 20s, which is all in my book right here, Rare Redemption. My whole story is in this book. Everything from beginning to the end, went on the run, what got me in trouble, all that, okay? It's done. I'm just waiting on a publishing company to get back to me with a proper deal. If I don't like the deal, then hey, guess what? I'm going to publish it myself. But my early 20s, I got into trouble around 21, 22-ish. I start getting into trouble, okay? Now, at first, it was me versus the courtroom, me versus the judge. The courtroom's the enemy. The judge is the enemies. Your Honor, listen, I will walk in there with almost an innocent mentality. Yes, that is something you don't want to do. Then later on, I learned I walk in there, accept accountability as a grown man. This is what I did. I'm willing to accept accountability for it. Nobody put a gun to my head and forced me to do this. Nobody threatened my life. Nobody did anything. I have the option as an adult to say yes or no. I'm not going to do it, or I am going to do it. And I chose to do it. And I'm here as a man to tell you I chose to do it. And yes, I have remorse and I'm sorry for what I did. You know, please take it easy on me. But at the same time, I will accept the punishment that you will give me, because, hey, I accept full accountability. All right. Did not learn this until I turned myself in after I was on the run for all those years, guys. And you know what the judge gave me? You know what the judge gave me? 2 years probation. 2 years probation. Because while I was on the run, I was actually opening up companies. I was doing a lot of things a productive citizen would do. So it showed good faith. And I was a lot older. So the judge looked at it like, hey, you were a young man back then. You were stupid. And he also said, hey, your brain doesn't develop for a man until you're 26, 27. I get it. So, and not only that, I also hired a very great attorney. My attorney was good. Shout out Mark Rubenstein. I hired a great attorney. But at the same time, I had to learn that early on, or, learn that later on in life. I mean that, hey, I got to accept accountability. So because of that, nobody is going to enter any of my inboxes. Nobody is going to call my phone trying to pay me off to spin a narrative, especially when I don't even feel like that is the proper narrative. Sorry, it's not going to work. So for anybody in the future is going to try and do that with Ray Marcel Fugitive TV, it's not working. Now, let's get back to the case at hand. Now, when it comes to this trial of Karmelo Anthony, we had a lot of people spin narratives. A lot of people, okay, came out with lies. Either you believe it or you don't believe it. And the reason why is because we didn't have access to the court. There was no pictures or anything. So what we had to do was rely on reporters taking notes. Some of these reporters, some of these news stations would come out with notes, and you could tell they would try and spin a little bit of their own narrative. They would say, well, the witness said this on the stand, but maybe they didn't say the whole thing the witness said. Maybe they didn't have time to write it all down, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Courts have stenographers, and there's a reason why these stenographers are so good at what they do and type so many words per minute, because, hey, this is what they do. They type out everything, but you have to be really fast. your average reporter sometimes writing things down is not going to be able to write everything down as it's going. So they might be missing some things. Some of them might be missing some things on purpose. But if you listen to one news station compared to another, you can tell sometimes it's two different narratives being reported. So because of that, we never could get the full truth of what's going on. Oh, this witness said this witness lied, this witness this witness that. Now, I'm going to tell you for a fact that I found out. One of the narratives, which at first, when I heard this, I was like, oh, is this true? Is that Austin and his brother were suspended from school and they shouldn't even been at the track meet. Guys, I want to tell you right now, that is false. That is false. I know for a fact that is false. For you guys that know me, you know that I dig deep and I get into information. Okay? And this information, this transcript is going to come out in the near future. I promise you that. And then you guys can see for yourself instead of trying to search on the internet or just look at Facebook feeds and believe that. They weren't suspended. They were actually in good standings at school. Both of them. I'm not saying they were like the greatest kids. I don't know them. But as in the court records that I saw, they were in good standing. Now, you know who was suspended from school? I didn't know if they were still suspended. Was Karmelo Anthony. He was suspended from his high school. And you know what he was suspended for? Having a weapon on campus. A knife. That is a proven record. That is on the transcript that he was suspended once before. But a lot of information news media outlets are not reporting that. They're spinning it the other way around. Now, this is not saying Karmelo's a bad kid or a good kid. It's not for him either. But the information has to be presented and it has to be presented truthfully. Okay? This is one of the things they wanted me to tell you was that, or I should say they didn't want me to tell you, was that he was suspended once before. Okay? For having a weapon on school grounds. Now, the information I don't know is if he was still suspended. So I don't know that. Now, before we get into the video, all right, I'm going to show you something. In my prior video, I told you, I believe Karmelo Anthony's parents messed up everything. I believe, and I told you this in a prior video, that they messed it all up. Karmelo Anthony's parents messed it up for Karmelo. And I've been saying from the start, I even said, I don't know if Karmelo should get first degree. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm just saying, I don't know if he should get first degree, but he needs to do some time. And I said that probably should be a manslaughter charge because I don't believe that he woke up in the morning that morning and took this weapon and said, I'm going to go do this to somebody today. I don't believe he did that. Now, do I believe he was sitting under the tent and made a dumb decision? Yes. You know, and at that time, did he know he was going to do that? Yes, because testimony says, which I saw, that he said, touch me again and see what I do with his hand by his bag or in the bag. So obviously he knew he was going to do that. So that's intent right there because he knew he was going to do it, right? But I don't think he fully woke up in the morning saying, I'm going to do this and planned it out. No. Okay. So I always said he probably should have got an manslaughter charge. Hey, you know, some people think he should be free and innocent. That part I don't believe whatsoever. But Karmelo Anthony, when they held that press conference with that minister of the person who's already been accused of child abuse because he shook somebody's baby, you got to be careful on YouTube and say certain words because they won't share the video. So bear with me. All right. Well, as soon as I saw that, I was like, no, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing putting this guy on stage as a spokesperson? First of all, the real victim is the one who passed away. I don't care what you feel. and what you think. You have to put yourself in the court. The real person, victim, is the one who passed away. Okay? I don't care if he pushed you. I don't care if he told you to leave the tent. Okay? That does not deserve that he should get stabbed in the heart and things like that. But still, that is the real victim. So when you make a press conference and you go on the press conference, not only with somebody who's accused of all these harshest things, and I'm not talking about Karmelo, I'm talking about the minister of his background, and he gets up there and starts making racist statements. He starts playing that they're the victims, okay? This town is not a big town. The town they live in is only a certain amount of people. So everybody's going to hear this press conference, everybody. And then the real victim's father shows up, and the guy shows up to try and bridge the gap with the Anthonys. The man literally, you guys let me know below. Let me know below. How many cases have you guys seen, okay, where the alleged person who actually did it, their family holds a press conference? That's one. You don't see that much often. Two, the alleged family does a press conference, and not only does a press conference, the victim's father or mother shows up at that press conference. And they don't show up trying to start anything. They show up to bridge the gap. And he shows up to pray with them. That right there was the downfall. Karmelo can blame that all on his parents. I'm sorry, but that is true. I don't care what you guys think. Take a look at this.
The father, he did something unthinkable. Reporters, as they always do, shoved a microphone in this grieving father's face and asked him, "How do you feel about this Karmelo Anthony?" Do you know what he said? Jeff Metcalf said, and I quote, "You know what? I've already forgiven this person. Already." Now, that is amazing. It's amazing that Jeff would have the strength to do that, because I would be incapable of that. The maturity, the wisdom, the strength, I just would not have it. Now, that baby shaking minister is not going to know this, but when a father makes a statement like that, a statement of forgiveness, the entire Karmelo team has to drop everything. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Your entire legal strategy has to change. I can tell you as an attorney that you call an emergency meeting with all the lawyers, all the family, maybe PR consultants if the family has means for that. Get them on the same page and let them know that this case will revolve around one person, Jeff Metcalf, the father. So when Karmelo's mother heard what Jeff said about her son, what do you think that this lady did? She handed the microphone at a press conference to the baby shaking minister of justice. And at that press conference where Jeff Metcalf showed up to pray with the family, the baby shaking minister called the police and had Jeff kicked out.
Now that is from the lead attorney. Go follow him. I watch him a lot. I watch a lot of attorneys a lot, okay? So I watch him a lot, and he said this 11 months ago, okay? And he said that press conference got Karmelo Anthony an extra 15 years, which is funny because for M-Slaughter, I thought he probably would have got 15 years. And then he says he got him an extra 15 years. Now it's 30. So we're like he's like 5 years off or whatever.
Many of you were surprised at a point that I made in my last video on how Karmelo Anthony's family has actually costed Karmelo extra years in prison. So many extra years. You wanted me to expound on that further because you had not heard anyone make that point. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm giving you the perspective, not of a YouTuber reacting to news, but of an attorney who's practiced for more than 20 years. This is behind the scenes info, so let's get to it. Now, let me explain on how Karmelo's mother basically sentenced her own son Karmelo to an extra 10 to 30 more years in prison and what she can do about it now to try to fix it. I explained in my last video that Karmelo's mother apparently hired a family spokesperson, one Dominique Alexander. This Dominique calls himself a minister of justice, whatever that is. Dominique is a convicted felon.
So he called it 11 months ago, and that is an actual attorney. And it makes sense because your whole town sees you having this press conference. And where do they get your juries from? Where do they get the people on the jury? They don't go to a different state, New York, to get the jury. They don't go to California. They get the jury members right there in your own town. So you don't think the people in his own town saw the press conference and maybe took offense to that? Like, hold on, wait, who's the real victim here? Wait, y'all claiming this and that? Oh, y'all racism. So y'all don't think for the people who are arguing, the jury already had their mind made up when they went in there. You know what? I'm not going to argue that. I am not going to argue that. Maybe they did have their mind made up, but why? Why? You don't think that press conference maybe had something to do with it? You don't think maybe some of those people took offense to that? Like the victim's father shows up and you guys don't welcome him. You guys don't try and bridge that gap. You guys don't beg for, hey, please forgive my son. Because all the power relies in Jeff Metcalf at that moment. Every single ounce of power in that moment relied in Jeff Metcalf. If you would have got Jeff Metcalf on your side at that moment, who knows what Karmelo might be doing right now? You don't know. He probably wouldn't have got all the time he got. If Karmelo and Jeff probably would have met and prayed together, just imagine that, guys. Imagine that. Imagine that for 1 minute. Put your feelings to the side and imagine if Jeff Metcalf would have prayed with Karmelo Anthony. What do you think would have happened when court happened? Do you think Jeff would have said lock him away and throw away the key? Or hey, he needs some time, but I think he has a chance. I'm just saying. Now, here is the video, okay, of him entering, okay, and then going over to the tent. Now, I'm going to tell you what they were trying to get me to do. So here's the video, right? Now, that's Karmelo. He's walking. He's highlighted. He's walking over to the tent. All right. Now you do see there's different tents here. People are huddled up under the tents. You also see some people on the field. Now, what I find interesting is that the coach testified, Karmelo's coach testified that he should have been on the field warming up at this time. That he should have been on the field warming up. Now, if you look, yeah, it's raining, but it's not pouring down rain. If it was pouring down rain, these people would not even be here. If it was pouring down rain. So he wasn't even supposed to be in the first place. He was supposed to be warming up. Nobody's running to try and dodge the rain, get out the rain or anything like that. Now, Karmelo was underneath the tent right here in the yellow. Okay. Everybody's sitting. You can see right here, everybody's sitting. And right above my head, you know, you can look closely, everybody's sitting. Now, the narrative was he went under there to dodge the rain, which could be true. But once it's done raining, hey, you know, all right, time to go. Now, like I said, I'm here for the facts. Now, his coach did say that they didn't bring a tent, their own tent. So his team didn't have a tent. Now, I've made this narrative once before. I played sports growing up, okay? I played basketball, football, baseball, ran track. And I made this once up before. Or not made it up, but told you guys about this. Sometimes you'd be on a football field and you would go to your sidelines and you would talk, huddle, whatever. And then some guy from the other opposing team sometimes will venture over to your sidelines and maybe try an ear hustle of what you guys are talking about for the next play and stuff like that. So he would try. And then One of our teammates will see him like, hey, get out of here, push him. Hey, get out of here. But, football. It's how, basketball, you don't see it so much, but football, yeah. So you would get that, yeah, get out of here. Now, Austin Metcalf, no excuses, but remember, they were football stars. They were football stars. So that's something in football that you're just used to, especially competitiveness. You're like, hey, you got to go, get up out of here or whatever, right? Now, people are still walking like normal. Like I said, you could tell it's not raining heavy because nobody's running. Nobody's trying to take shelter really quick. So let me rewind this a little bit. Let me rewind this. Now you see underneath the tent, one person who is sitting down. Looks like he jumps down 2 stairs. Now, I will tell you that the person who tried to pay me didn't want me to show the whole footage. They want me to cut it and then tell you that 3 members were running from the bleachers, but you just can't see them into the tent. As in 3 people ran underneath the tent to try and provoke Karmelo. That's what they were trying to get me to say. But you don't see that here. You just see everybody sitting still. Now, as we look, you can tell there were, some narratives of him getting jumped. Now, none of us was there. This footage is grainy. We can't really see exactly what's going on because the problem is the camera's so far back. You can't, I even tried putting this into AI to see if it can clear it up. It really can't because of the pixels. If the pixels are not that, if it's shot only in a certain amount of pixels, there's only so much you can do with this footage, okay? So we can't see a lot underneath the tent. We can't. But the one thing I can see is I don't see a big commotion going on. Usually if somebody is getting jumped, you would get a little circle of people backing up, looking at the jumping going on. Now in the back, you do see right here, let me rewind that a little bit. You can kind of see in the back. You see like a push or a shove. Push, shove. And now Karmelo runs out. Now people are scattering. Now people are scattering. They wanted me to stop the video right there and say he ran into somebody's arms. That's what they wanted me to do. But that's not what happened. As you see, he kept running. All right, so you see him right here. He's got his hands up. He's got his hands up because the cop approaches him. Okay? I didn't see him run into anybody's coach's arms yet. That I did not see. The whole narrative was that he ran into a coach's arms, okay, and was saying, I'm sorry, and all kind of things like that. That was the whole narrative, if you guys remember. He ran into a coach's arms and said, I'm sorry. Now, this is the narrative that was brought out to us. None of that's here. None of that is here. Instead, he's running from people. You see people behind him pointing. Then a cop catches up to him. Right here, he's got his hands up because there's a cop right there about to pat him down. Okay, which we are going to look at the other angle of this. The only coach that's there, the coach is on the other side of the fence, but he's on the other side walking with him, meaning the coach is in the inside of the track. Karmelo's on the walkway. You guys been to a track meet, it's divided. Now here is the actual body cam footage.
Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443, I got the suspect, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. All right.
Now,
any weapons on you like that?
That right there is his coach on the other side of the fence. Right there.
Help me, y'all back up a little bit. Come over here for me.
And this is when he was walking with his hands
Put
up.
your handcuffs for now, okay, bud? Dispatch 443. Everybody can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now, detained.
Everyone else can slow down. Suspect detained in handcuffs.
Hold on. You can open up the channel, and medics are clear to come in. Have them come to the northeast entrance. That's gonna be a gate that's wide open there, and then you come to the victim from there.
Received.
This is the alleged suspect. All right, bud. Okay. We'll figure that out. So nothing on your person at all? No, nothing? No, sir. Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that? Nothing gonna stab me? No, sir. Okay.
I'm going to be out with this as well. Racing.
I'm gonna be a little personal there, okay? Just to make sure.
My car's right there.
Okay. You want me to get up now? Yeah. All right. The victim's going to be underneath that tent over there, so I'll get medics. Memorial tent over there, guys. All right.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
What's happening right now? Victim is over here on the north end. They got staff standing to him right now. This is the alleged suspect. Okay. Already? No. We searched them. We got nothing on him.
I don't know what happened.
423. Trackers everything about CPR progress for a little bit.
Racing.
Yeah, that's the wrong thing.
Racing.
Sorry, over here for side. It's up to you. It's up to you.
That's fine. This is closer.
Okay. Let me do one more little check of you, okay?
Yes, sir.
You don't mind if I reach in your pockets, anything like that? You good?
You can.
You're just wearing one pair of pants?
No, I'm wearing some little underpants.
Oh, yeah. But it's not
Like,
pockets. These are your
no,
own
ma'am, I
pockets.
don't think so.
Right. What's your name, man?
Karmelo Anthony, K-A-R-M-E-L-O.
430, show me out.
Okay.
Racing.
Check one more time on this side. Have a seat here real quick, man. Watch your head. Let me check your hood here, buddy, okay?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, lean this way so you're not resting on your hands, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
402, I'm on scene.
So your first name is Karmelo?
Yes, sir. K-A-R-M-E-L-O.
Let's see, hold on one second.
Is he gonna be okay?
I don't know yet, man. Karmelo, C-A-R-A.
K-A-R.
K-A-R.
M-E-L-O.
M-E-L-O, Karmelo. What's your last name?
Anthony.
A-N-T-H.
O-N-Y.
O-N-Y. Where are you in?
I'm in 12th grade.
10th grade? You go to Emerson?
No, sir.
Where do you go? Centennial. Okay.
I'm in 12th grade. 12th grade.
12th grade?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, Centennial. All right, sit tight for me real quick, bud, all right?
And as you can see the raindrops coming down. But once again, it's not raining that heavy to where people are trying to run for cover. Let me rewind this real quick, because there was a narrative that Karmelo Anthony wasn't even that big of a guy. I don't know if you guys remember that. I don't know how big these police officers are, but looks like an average size, average build. It doesn't look small like people were trying to say. A better clear footage right there. Yeah, so he doesn't look like he's a tiny kid. He looks like he's just average built, average size. Like the rest of the kids walking by.
Frisco 911, what is the location of the emergency?
Hi, we're at Kuykendall Stadium. My friend just got
Okay, do you know who?
We have no clue. He was sitting in our tent, but you need to send an ambulance right now.
They're on the way, okay? Give me a description of the person that stabbed him.
He was wearing a gray Essentials hoodie. He was black. He's standing out on the track right now.
He's standing on the track?
Yeah.
Okay.
His blue sweatpants on and John.
Okay, what did he stab your friend with?
I don't know. My friend's bleeding everywhere.
Okay. Where was he stabbed at?
The chest.
Okay. And do you still see the person that stabbed him, or did he leave?
It was Austin. Austin got stabbed in the chest. I'm sorry, what did you say?
The person that stabbed him, is he still there? Do you still see him?
There's adults on him, I think. Yeah.
There's adults that are trying to keep him there?
Know who he is. Sorry, what?
The person that stabbed your friend, is he still there?
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay, and
He's with the coach.
There's a coach with him?
Yes, he's with. People got him.
Okay. Do you know if he still has the weapon on him?
No clue, but he's like he can't do nothing. He's done.
What do you mean?
He stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest. What?
What do you mean he can't do anything? What's going on with him?
Coaches have him. He can't hurt anyone.
Okay, when you say they have him, are they physically holding him down?
No, they're just holding him, walking around.
Okay.
Okay.
He was under our team. Austin tried to make a move.
Okay. What's your name? What's your last name?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your last name? Okay. And do you see any of the responders there yet?
We hear the sirens, but
the
coach just sent us out. We're all walking to our buses.
Okay. So you're going to get on a bus right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the rest of the students are walking towards the buses?
Yeah, everyone's being evacuated out the stadium.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being quick.
Okay. Just follow whatever directions you're being provided by either the officers or by your coaches, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect with you, Nathan, but we've got all kinds of help headed that way.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, one person has came out and said that they were no longer supporting the Anthony family because they raised $1 million for them. And the family seemed like they were just being greedy and wanted more money, with things of that nature. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what some things are saying. Now, we all know the GoFundMe. It wasn't a GoFundMe. It was a different account because you can't do GoFundMe for what they did. So it was a different type of thing that they raised money for. They got over $600,000. Now, the narrative side from people who are from the family starts saying that they never got the money, that it was frozen. They never gave it to them. But there was a statement from that company saying that they actually did get the money. So here is Give, Send, Go was the crowd fund. It's like GoFundMe, pretty much similar. Now, this is where the fundraiser was for them. Now, they actually made a statement because they got tired of the narrative saying that, that they froze the money, because that's what some people are believing. They froze the money. It says, a jury has found Karmelo Anthony guilty in the death of Austin Metcalf. Our hearts are with Austin's family, his twin brother, and everyone grieving a loss that no verdict can undo. Give, Send, Go hosted a fundraiser connected to this case. Hosting a fundraiser has never been an endorsement of a person, their actions, their legal arguments, or their public statements. It is not a declaration of innocence and is not a political statement. Give, Send, Go provides access to lawful fundraising, which we extend across the full spectrum of cases. This fundraiser was created to support pretrial needs, and those funds were distributed over the past year for lawful purposes, including legal defense and family relocation. With that stated purpose now complete, the fundraiser has been closed and the funds will be paid out. Our policy is that a fundraiser's stated purpose stays accurate to givers, allowers know that they are supporting. Our prayers for Austin Metcalf's family, for all those affected, and for justice, mercy, peace in our community. Okay? So as you see right there, they are saying that they distributed the money. So like I said, there was people out there saying that they never got the money, but they distributed it. Now, we don't know what all that money went to. We really don't know. And it did say for family relocation. It did say that on the statement. So for people who are saying, hey, they used the money for the be in his big house and things, well, technically it did say for family relocation. Now, depending on if they want to get some small shack or a big mansion, there's nothing we can say about that, all right? Because that was in the description. And they did that, the relocation, because they felt that they were being threatened and things like that. But a lot of this, I think, falls back on that press conference. If that press conference would have never happened, I think a lot of these threats and a lot of this white versus black that went on with this case probably would not have happened. Now, did the big media play a role in this? Yes, they did. The big media did help with this and play a role. And because of that, I believe the parents fell right into the trap of what the big media wanted everybody to do, because now the big media has something to talk about, including myself on this channel. All right. Which I wish we didn't have to talk about this stuff. But unfortunately, the stuff played a role, and we do. Somebody contacted me to do this, and I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to let you guys know. And for any other YouTubers or influencers who have been contacted, you know, I'm not going to name any names yet. I'm not going to put them out there yet, just yet. But if I continue to see something like that, then yes, the person might get exposed and I might tell you who they are. All right. But for now, please stop it. All right. I don't need your 250 to sit on my YouTube channel and tell a lie. That's one thing I'm not going to do. Now, do I think Karmelo's lawyer did a great job? No, hell no. This guy sucked. I don't know where they got Karmelo's lawyer from in the first place. I don't know what they were doing with this guy, but this guy was horrible. He even made one statement inside the courtroom to the jury that Austin fell on the knife. Come on now. Oh, he just fell on a knife. Come on, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Stop it. All right. Yes, I felt Karmelo should have taken the stand. What they should have did was humanize Karmelo, humanize him. Okay. Not play him as the victim, but humanize him as he is a young kid that was 17 years old at the time with these emotions, testosterone, whatever it is going through his body, and then had a professional child psychiatrist get on the stand and also tell the jury, because you might know about this, but a lot of people don't. Tell the jury, hey, 17-year-old boy, they're making indecisive decisions, things like that. So please look at him as a 17-year-old boy. Let's not look at him as a murder. Let's look at him as a 17-year-old boy at that time, even though he's being tried as an adult. But you got to remember, this happened when he was 17 and he's 19 now. He's still truly in his brain, not an adult. My own judge told me that, hey, it makes sense of why you made your life change around 27, 28 years old, because that's when, you know, a male, I guess, fully matures, or, you know, so they should have had a professional get on and say these things. All right. But they didn't. They didn't. People are throwing the narrative that, hey, witnesses got on the stand and lied, things like that. Well, looking at this video, there are some things that you can say they did tell the truth. Okay. Now, like I said, you really can't see a lot, but I didn't see anybody getting jumped. I also didn't see somebody running down 3 flights of stairs to go push him either. I didn't see that as well. It looked like some people were already in the tent. That's what it looked like. All right. You can only go off of what we're seeing, but we weren't there. So I don't know if these witnesses were lying. I don't know. But all I do know, let's say if the witnesses are lying, the attorney should have did something about that. The attorney probably should have fought harder. The attorney should have humanized him. The attorney should have put him on a stand. Some people will say, oh, the prosecution would have ate him up. For what? If he would have got on the stand and told the truth. Hey, my life was in danger. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this, such and such. Then we all would have got the question in the first place. Why did you bring the knife to a track meet? But the reason why he wasn't put on the stand is because a prosecution would have said, hey, Karmelo, it's true you got suspended already from school for having this knife. What do you think he would have said? Yes. And the jury would have been like, oh, he's known for carrying. Now, it's not against the law to carry the knife, but you're not supposed to have it at school. So the whole question goes to, why does he feel he have to carry a knife in the first place? Something's going on. See, everybody looks at the surface level. Oh, he did this. But why does he feel at the age of 17, you need a knife on school grounds, school, sporting? Why? What's going on? See, nobody wants to admit this. Nobody wants to look at that. Why does he feel he needs this? What's going on in his life to the root of the issue where he feels that he needs this? This question people do not want to answer. Why? This is the root of the evil, guys. This is the root of the problem. Right there. Why do you feel that? Hey, I'm just posing a question. And I'm posing a question that the prosecution would have asked Karmelo as well, which we all would have had an answer to if they would have put him on the stand, but they didn't. So now people in an uproar because of, hey, of what he got. When they should have humanized him. If you want to take your anger out on anybody, take it out on 2 people. The parents when they did that press conference, second, the attorney. I'm just calling it like how I see it, no filter added. That's who you should take your anger out on. All right. Like I said in the beginning, I don't think he was innocent, but when it comes to first degree, I don't think he should have got that either. It should have been somewhere in the middle. Let me know what you think below of what he probably should have got. Now, there's something I want to share with you guys, okay? This is from Renee Girard. He is a philosopher, all right? Now, one thing he does say, what he said, he defined scapegoat mechanism, all right? He defined it as a society's method for resolving internal conflict by redirecting the community's mounting tensions and mimic violence onto a single innocent outsider. The group restores peace and unity through the shared act of expulsion or sacrifice. Meaning that people a lot of times have to find an scapegoat, okay, to burden or to solve their feelings or what's going on, all right? If they can blame this or blame somebody or sacrifice somebody, it makes things or the situation better for that individual or those people, okay? Now, Girard argued that humans do not desire things independently. Instead, we learn what to desire by intimidating the desires of others. When multiple people desire the exact same thing, often limited object, this imitation naturally breeds rivalry and conflict. Okay? So when you see somebody that desires the same thing, you're going to want to desire naturally as a human what they desire. And if somebody over here is desiring something different, it is going to breed a conflict. Okay? Now, it also says as the conflict escalates, People mimic each other's aggression. This leads to war of all against all that threatens to destroy the community entirely. To save themselves from destruction, the community unconsciously unites against an outsider or vulnerable member who cannot easily defend themselves by projecting all community's guilt, rage, disorder into this single target. The group purges itself of tension to restores order. Societies were built directly on this foundation. The scapegoat victim, once eliminated, is often transformed into a mythical figure or a deity that the society begins to venerate for bringing peace. I hope reading that you can understand what I just read, and you can put that into your daily life and start realizing certain things. Sometimes people will start arguing. Sometimes people will have conflict, and they have to sacrifice somebody. Somebody has to get sacrificed. Somebody has to become the scapegoat for these group of individuals to feel they did a better job. Please let me know below. What do you think of all this? And do you think other people, influencers, not just YouTubers, anybody, social media, TikTok, has been approached to get paid to spin a certain narrative? And it also makes me wonder, are there other stories out there that people have done this to spin a certain narrative? If you heard of any of this, please let me know below. All right. Let me know. There's no judgment here. You can comment whatever you want on the bottom of my channel. Like I said, no judgment. We're humans. Not everybody is going to agree. And that's just the way we are. But please take care of one another. Until next time, look out at your surroundings. Watch your surroundings. This is Fugitive TV, and I'm out.